Hey there, what's going on, you guys? My name is Crazy Pie, and finally I have a video. It's a long story why I didn't have one out. It's just it was the weekend and Mother's Day weekend, and it's all good though. We have videos. This video was actually planned to go out on Friday, but I was extremely busy, so I'm sorry about that, guys. Finally, it's out though. I was really looking forward to making this video ever since the Glitch DLC update came out, because really, all the guns got changed, so that's why you see me doing another one of these top 5 best guns in Titanfall 2 videos, as really, most of the guns now keep their hipfire reticle, so it's very overpowered in my opinion, and I just love using the weapons in this game now. So, without further ado, guys, in this video, we're going to be talking about the top 5 best guns within Titanfall 2. It's one of my favorite videos to do on this channel, as really, it's actually really enjoyable to make these types of videos. It's really fun to reflect and use the different types of weapons, and there's a lot of different variety that you can do with this. Like, sometimes you can do, like, I won't get too much into it, but there's a lot of variety that you can do with this subject, and it's a lot of fun to actually make these types of videos. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please feel free to leave a like actually down below, and comment down below what your guys' top 5 favorite weapons are, as I'd really love to see and read what they are, and I'll definitely give them a go. But yeah, if you are new to the channel as well, guys, please feel free to subscribe. We are on the road to 1.4 thousand. It's just so awesome to say that, and I thank you guys so much. But yeah, let's get started, guys. So coming in at our number 5 spots, we have the Flatline. Now, back in the January update, I believe it was January 27th, I think that's actually the day. If it is, then, you know, that's insane. But back on that update, the Flatline got an unnecessary buff, and this thing was overpowered enough as it was. Now, the recoil on the Flatline is side to side, and it can get very annoying, so one tip I do have for you if you are using the Flatline is to spray it tap fire. Don't tap fire it like you're tap firing an alternator, but do it as like 1, 2, 3. Like, hold down the trigger for about 2 seconds, stop. Hold it down for about 2 seconds, stop. Kind of like little bursts, and then you will get lot more accurate shots on your enemy, and you will just demolish them. As really, this gun has a good ammo count and has very high damage. Damage coming in at 70 compared to most other weapons in the assault rifle category, which is pretty good. Accuracy, obviously pretty bad. Range is 65, and then the fire rate is actually pretty decent. The fire rate's not that bad, coming in at 60. A little bit on the slower side, but it is pretty nice. If you're using it with just no magazine, or no, should I say, with no extra ammo, it does have a magazine size of 30. With extra ammo, it has a magazine size of 36. Flatline, very, very overpowered gun. Honestly, probably one of the best guns in the game in my opinion, and I would definitely give it a go. It does get frowned upon a little bit because it did get that unnecessary buff, but if you are looking to use a very overpowered weapon and just something that can spray down your enemy very easily, definitely, guys, give the Flatline a go. Moving into our number 4 spot, we have the R201, as well as I guess you can qualify the R101 as well. If you don't know what the R101 is, it's basically the Titanfall 1 version of this gun that got introduced to the game. Same stats, same everything, just a new look. Came in the Colony Reborn DLC, so almost about 2 months ago. Now, this weapon, why I did put it in here is it has so much nostalgia for the game for me. I know the game has really only been out for like 6 or 7 months or so, somewhere around there, but really, this was the gun that made me fall in love with Titanfall 2. I used to use a lot of guns in other shooters that had extreme recoil, but then to use this thing that basically had laser sights was just insane. This gun has barely any recoil if you aim down the sights, and basically you can use it in any situation now. So if you're shooting at long range, boom, you can just aim down your sight, and if you're shooting at a closer range and getting engaged with the enemy at a close range, you can just hip fire, because now that the dot stays, it's very overpowered. This gun does have a decent amount of damage. It is around 55. It has a little bit of a lower magazine size, coming in at around 24. I would highly recommend that you use extended ammo, as it bumps it up to a way higher 30. Really, all it does is add a couple more bullets, but hey, it can land you the kill some of the time. You can expect to get around 2 to 3 kills per clip, depending on how accurate you are, which shouldn't be that bad, as this gun does have extremely good accuracy in this game. All this depends on the player. This weapon has the highest accuracy in all of the assault rifles, which is kind of weird because the G2 is single fire, and this is rapid fire. So this has 90 accuracy, and the G2 actually has around 85. So that's insane. This is going to be way more accurate than your average G2, but obviously it's all down to the player and the skill of the player. Definitely one of the best guns in my opinion. It's just a lot of fun to use. It's not really that sweaty and that try hard. It's just one of those guns that you can use if you're just looking to have a good time and just, you know, not really go all out try hard, but still have a lot of fun playing the game. Once again, guys, R201 and R101 comes in at our number 4 spot. Moving in, guys, to our number 3 spot, we actually have the car. Now, I used to use a lot of the car back before the glitch DLC. I used it a lot in live fire. That's basically where I fell in love with it, because I would aim down the sights. It has extremely good ADS sights, like it's very cool for ADSing. It's basically like a U with a little dot in the center. But now that the car actually does keep its hip fire reticle, it's probably one of my favorite guns in the game, as really it does have, it's very just all around a good gun. You know, it does have extremely good damage for an SMG. Honestly, not as much as the Alternator. The Alternator will pretty much beat out the car, except for if you have any good angles on the enemy. But really, the Alternator does beat out pretty much anything. Let's just leave it at that. But the car is honestly one of the coolest SMGs and one of the funnest. And it just reminds me of such a classic submachine gun from any other shooter. You know, like this will just be your classic type of carbine, run and gun type of SMG that you can post up with as well as rush around with. It's very good for rushing, might I add. It has very good hip fire sights as well as extremely nice ADS sights, which is pretty nice. This thing has a whopping 30 bullets in its magazine, added 6 more, so 36 if you are using extended ammo, which I use. I really do like the more ammo in this gun as it is an SMG. I do find myself rushing a lot with this SMG. Very good SMG, I find. Rushing with it is very cool. The damage is at 40, which is higher than both the Volt and the R97 by around 5. Alternator obviously beats it out with a 75, but accuracy with this weapon is very high. It reminds me a lot of how the R201 and the R101 perform. It's at 85 for the car, just like how it was at 90 for those two guns. The range is pretty much the same as all the other SMGs, coming in at a 40. And then the fire rate comes in second for the SMGs, being topped by the R97. Obviously, it's at a whopping 100. But the fire rate for the car comes in at a 70. Very good gun, I find. It's very versatile in pretty much any situation. I love to use this gun a lot. It's very fun. Honestly, it's probably one of my favorite guns in the game, but that's why it's on this list at our number 3 spot. Guys, dropping in at our number 2 spot for the top 5 best guns in Titanfall 2 / favorite guns in Titanfall 2, we have the R97. Now, I barely used this gun before the buff. I found that it was just annoying the ADS with this gun, as its recoil wasn't the greatest. My bullets would just be spraying everywhere and it just wasn't that fun, and there really isn't that much foregrip in this game, or grip I should say at all, so you can like get better accuracy. But now that you can just hip fire this thing, it is so much fun. Now, the magazine size for the car, the R97, I almost said car there, they look pretty much identical, is actually at a whopping 40. Now that's very high. That's some of the highest that all the SMGs have. It's probably the highest out of all of the SMGs. It is. And if you're using the extended ammo perk, which I would highly recommend, you can top off at around 48 bullets, which is overpowered in my opinion. That's some of the most bullets that you can actually get in a gun in this game, aside from like an LMG. That's a lot of bullets, dude, for a 100 fire rate gun. This gun does have a 100 fire rate, which is why I would highly recommend that you use extra ammo as well as speed loader, so you can get ammo in your gun basically at all time. And honestly, this thing doesn't have that much damage, but since it does have the 100 fire rate, it's just so good at doing high damage over short periods of time. Honestly, it's very good at rushing if you know how to hip fire. Probably one of the best guns in the game in my opinion, now that you can just start spam hip firing it all over the place. It's so good in my opinion. 35 damage, 22 accuracy, which isn't so bad, but honestly it feels like 95 to 100 if you just hip fire this thing. Range is at 40, which it can be a little bit noticing at times. I would highly recommend tap firing it, kind of like you do the Alternator, or burst firing it. I find works a lot better, just like how I said you could with the R201. And the car and the flatline. Basically all these guns I would recommend just trying to burst fire at a longer range. Flatline does work a lot better though. This gun is super good in close range. I would highly recommend you use it if you haven't already. It's so good after the update. If you were timid or scared to use it before the update, definitely give it a go now that the hip fire reticle does stay. It's very good in my opinion. Highly recommend using it. Definitely R97 comes in at our number 2 spot. Guys, the spot you've all been waiting for, most of you could probably already guess it if you've played this game a lot like I have. It's such an obvious answer, and it's just such an obvious gun to come in at the number 1 spot. Guys, we have the Alternator coming in at our number 1 spot. Honestly, it makes sense. The Alternator is one of the strongest guns in the game. It is one of the best SMGs, one of the most accurate SMGs in this game, and it just packs a punch, dude. It comes in at a whopping 75 damage, which is almost double than the car, and the car has the second most damage. So it has almost double than the car's damage, Its accuracy is at a 50, so it's not as good as the Volt and it's not as good as the car. Still is better than the R97. I think that's if you aim though. If you do not aim and you just start to tap fire, it is extremely good. It's very good for tap firing. It has very good horizontal reticle, hipfire reticle. It's super overpowered. It's so much fun to use hip firing, and its magazine size isn't really the greatest. It tops up at around 20. If you add the extended ammo, it has around 25, which is what I would recommend using Gunrunner and extended ammo. Or if you don't like Gunrunner and you're just not really used to rushing that much and trying to learn to rush, definitely I would go with something like Speed Loader, as you can have ammo in this killing machine at all times. It is such an overpowered gun, guys. Highly would recommend using the Alternator. It has a decent fire rate. It has a fire rate of around 60, and it's so good, guys. It is one of the strongest guns in the game, and that's basically why if you watch pretty much any Titanfall 2 video or play the game a lot, you do find a ton of people using the Alternator, as it's really one of the strongest guns in the game. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Sorry once again for the late upload. It has been a few days and I'm sorry for that, but as long as I do get around 2 videos out a week, it's good. I'm approaching one of the hardest units on my math, so it is going to get a little bit hectic here on the channel, and hopefully, and there will obviously easily be a lot of videos on this channel, and hopefully we do not dip below 1 per week. I want to try and have at least 3 videos out a week during this next month. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you guys within 2 days. Yeah, peace, guys.